Come sit down.
Okay, I will.
Every morning I have a cup of coffee. Coffee starts my day out right. If I don't have my morning cup of coffee, my day just doesn't go right at all. I don't know if it's because I break a ritual or maybe caffeine withdrawals, whatever, but I do know that coffee is important to me. So I started to wonder, where does this wonderful brew come from? Who invented coffee? Why did they invent it? So can I grow it myself so I don't have to go buy it all the time? I wanted to know where coffee was grown. ChiliPepper.com told me that coffee is grown between the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. These are two imaginary lines that are about 23 degrees north and south of the equator, and that's the only place where the environment is correct to grow the sensitive coffee plant. So that rules out me growing it in the backyard. Where does coffee come from originally? CoffeeDetective.com said that the first record of coffee as a drink takes us back to Ethiopia in the 9th century, where legend has it that a shepherd observed his goats getting kind of rowdy after eating red beans. It seems to be the consensus of most coffee historians. Can you imagine the scene? Now picture this. A shepherd sees his goats getting really hyper after eating red beans, so naturally he says, I'll try it out myself. By the time he gets home, his wife thinks he's gone completely nuts. And when she finally gets him off the roof of their hut, he tells her about his magic beans, and a craze is born. Probably not. That's probably not the way it happened. But when I found further research on the subject, according to several sites like CoffeeDetective.com and the National Coffee Association site called ncausa.org, that this shepherd's name was Kaldi. Now Kaldi told the abbot of the monastery in his town about his red beans, and the abbot made a drink out of them. Pretty soon all the monks were drinking them because it kept them alert during the long prayers that they held every night. News spread slowly, and by the 15th century, coffee was drank all across the Middle East. The Arabian people were the first to not only grow it, but to sell it. And by the 16th century, it was well known in places like Persia and Egypt, Syria, and Turkey. Coffee was a hit, and by the 17th century, it was all over Europe. NCAUSA.org tells me that there were opponents to coffee. They said it was the bitter invention of Satan. But when Pope Clement VIII decided to taste the beverage, he liked it so much he gave it his palpable approval, making it okay for the masses to drink. Now, I know too much coffee isn't good for you, but a bitter invention of Satan, I don't think so. According to CoffeeDetective.com, it's the British's fault that coffee got so popular in America. When they took away our tea, we improvised and drank coffee instead. And now Google says more than 50% of Americans drink coffee. That is a lot of coffee, my friends. So I decided to dig deeper into the facts about coffee. Fairwaymarket.com has a very interesting article about coffee. They told me there's two main kinds of coffee plant. The Robusta plant, and that's cheaper to produce, but it's also lower quality, but it's higher in caffeine. But it's more bitter than the Arabica plant. The Arabica plant has cleaner, stronger coffee taste and is much less bitter. That's why all your high-end coffees are usually made from the Arabica bean. Both varieties of coffee grow in a limited number of climates. This area includes Central and South America, Africa, and Indonesia, but not much in the U.S. or Europe. The only domestic coffee grown in the USA comes from Hawaii. I didn't know that. After finding out all these fascinating facts about the origin of coffee, I wanted to know how it was made. I see coffee as it is in the store, either packaged, ground up, or in whole roasted coffee beans. But I wanted to know how it got from the plant to my pot. I found out on coffeeandhealth.org, they told me that after they harvest the beans, the next step is to get the seeds out of the ripe fruit and dry them. There are two methods to do this. The natural way is to sort them by hand and wash them all, and then spread them out in the sun to dry, and this can take up to 4 weeks. Then the berries are removed from their outer shell and stored in silos where they are sent to the mill for hulling to have the outer layer of the dried beans taken off. After they're all washed and dried, the raw berries are roasted according, oh, nope, I missed something. The other method is the wet method, where it's soaked, beans are put into, the outer shell is taken off, they're put into water, where enzymes remove the hulls. And after they are all washed and dried, the raw berries are roasted according to preference, either by rotating them in drums heated underneath or air drying them. After the beans are roasted, they are bagged up as whole beans ready for sale. That's a lot of work for a beverage. I think I'll continue to just buy my coffee from the store and brew it up in my faithful little coffee pot. Even as much as I like coffee, farming coffee beans is not for me. Thanks.
Question.
What?
Where do you find all these crazy websites about